During the live broadcast of the show, we heard the tune Under My Skin from Russell Lauder's oh so danceable new album, just released at the tail end of September. The album is called Fairweather and is the second album from Charlottetown Prince Edward Island born performance artist and musician, singer songwriter Russell Lauder. And they are joining me today on The Rise. How are you, Russell?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm really digging this track,
Thank you.
Under My Skin. It's so danceable, and I have some really good news for you. Fairweather is on CKUA's top 30 chart this week, debuts at number 14, and I want you to know it's the highest Canadian debut this week on our top 30 chart.
Wow. Well, that's an honor.
Yeah. So your last album, Humor, came out in 2021 and was released in February, I believe, in 2021.
Yes.
I got to know, like, how was this album, your new album, Fairweather, recorded, and how did it differ from Humor? Humor came out in February. This one came out in September. You played Pop Montreal on the day of the release of the record. That's got to be an incredible feeling.
It was a really fun show. Yeah, it felt like a release in so many aspects of the word. Yeah, it that was really fantastic. And I was really grateful to the team at Pop Montreal for giving me such a sweet slot. Like, yeah, it fit really well. So, yeah, the first album, Humor, that was recorded pre-pandemic, but it was really developed in the depths of lockdown, like 2020. We hate the pandemic. The pandemic has been awful. Like, I'm not saying that I'm glad there was a pandemic, but I was really grateful for the opportunity to slow down at that point. Like, I was on CERB, I was like getting, consistent income. I was freshly in love. I was able to kind of just sit down and really focus on creating the record. Yeah, and then Fairweather, working on that I was just under completely different circumstances in so many ways. My income, I had no income at one point because my CBC royalties had kind of dried up because of that deal between the CRTC and SiriusXM. So that was very destabilizing. I had also like gone through this breakup that had left me without a home for a couple of months, literally this exact time last year. And then I had some family crisis stuff happening. I was kind of in survival mode, but I was under contract to finish this album. Like, I had gotten some grant support to do it. It was very, very challenging. I ended up just needing to work 3 jobs, and then I would get about 2 hours of sleep every night because I would also, on top of working 3 jobs to get stabilized again and get an apartment again, and I was also finishing this album. So it was sort of a state of delirium that, that I really got this thing done. A lot of it was recorded at home using this like dilapidated slash stunning acoustic guitar, MIDI synths, and found percussion. I recorded some stuff through a shoebox tape recorder. I was really pulling from what I had, and I didn't have a lot. I think I used like a cassette tape box as percussion on one of the songs. I used the percussion of the guitar. I used the desk. I like put a microphone in a suitcase at one point and kind of used that over a bass drum. Like, I think it's just really, for me, I think it's important to bring in an experimentalist spin on the work. Well, I don't know if it's important. I just don't really know how else to do it.
That's got to take a lot of creativity and a lot of resourcefulness. And for those of you tuning in, listening at home, I'm talking with Russell Lauder about their album Fairweather. And Russell, I wanted to talk a bit about the image on the album cover. Okay, so to paint the picture, Russell's album features them in a car of some kind, surrounded by white flowers. I think they're chrysanthemums. I'm not sure.
And the which is like, I think it's a form of chrysanthemum. I don't know.
They're beautiful, and you're sort of squeezing tightly with them, I guess, in the passenger seat, and it's a striking visual. And when you look at that album cover, like, well, first of all, did you have a concept, or were there motifs that were playing into that album cover? And how do you feel when you look at the album cover as a finished work of art?
Yeah. So one of my favorite collaborators is this wonderful artist named Bobby Lyon, who is also a dear friend. Bobby and I just have a synergy that just feels really, really golden. So Bobby took that photo. When Bobby and I work together, it really feels like a playful process. Like I don't want to sound too therapy-ish, but I really do see us as little kids, just like, what if, okay, how about this? What if we did that? Like it feels really beautiful and pure. And we have a lot of fun. Like it's a lot of fun. You know, even when we're in weird, that night so the plan for that photo was like, I just want so many flowers. Let's just get so many flowers and we'll do like a night shoot and da 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 da. And then we kind of picked out some outfits. We went to a flower store, got a bunch of these Fuji mums. We didn't have a large budget to shoot with to begin with, but I think we spent most of the budget on the flowers. Um,
That sounds right. Yes. Yeah.
yeah, which are very expensive, by the way. Yeah, so then we were shooting outside and I think it was May. Yeah, it was May. It was just a really cold night in May. Like it went down to -10 or something. Like it was freezing. Still having a wonderful time, but freezing. And then we went into the car. I just kind of like put the flowers next to me and we were like, this is really funny. And then Bobby started taking pictures of me. That kind of became the main shoot, which was unexpected, but at the same time, very us. I think the image is really striking. I think it's melancholic. There's something very sultry, like yeah, which is kind of the mood of the album in many ways. There's also something a little bit I don't want to say, well yeah, it's a little bit like sensual in a way. There's this very hot light, warm light. I don't know. I think it wasn't a debate between anybody on the label or me or Bobby. Like we were all like, that's the best one.
Sets the tone so incredibly well. And I wanted to ask you, is there a song on the record that you would like to hear? And do you know if Bobby likes any of the songs on the album? Maybe we could send that out to her.
Which one does Bobby like the most? I think Bobby likes Movie Queen. I think that was Bobby. Yeah, Bobby was obsessed with Movie Queen when she heard it first. She was one of the first people to hear it. Movie Queen is the sort of like straight up kind of Russell Lauder dance pop format song that I would recommend. For me, I think Under My Skin I think has grown to be my favorite on the record, but you've already played it. So yeah, I would say play Movie Queen.
Okay. Movie Queen. Russell Lauder, thank you so much for joining me today on The Rise. Russell Lauder's album Fairweather is the highest Canadian debut on CKUA's Top 30 chart. And we'll hear this one. This is Movie Queen. You're listening to CKUA.